Hello, YouTube. It's me, the Lil Stir, and it's Matt again. We're back. Sorry for the
Hello?
absence. We're here now.
Yes.
We
We are here to talk about
a rather controversial topic, actually.
yes, talking about rape accusations, via social media, and how it affects everyone involved.
So, for a few examples, you have the obvious recent stuff. Toby Turner with the April F, which is unconfirmed. I'm not going to pass any judgment on either of them until I've seen some solid evidence.
There's also, Sam Pepper.
Which is, 2 years ago?
Yes. Yeah, that was 2014. Accused of rape.
It's pretty much what you can see on his, well, it's not on his channel anymore. He did actually grope women with a plastic arm.
Yes. There's also Lion Maker accused of pedophilia in multiple cases.
And there was Tony, the 62-year-old RuneScape player, falsely accused of being a convict, whose channel was... So, let's get into the Toby stuff first of all. I'm sure, if you're watching this, you probably know all about it. But a woman by the name of April Effie, I believe, posted a Tumblr post in rather a large amount of detail as to how she had exposed Toby Turner and that she had that he had raped her. Since then, hundreds of exposed videos have been released on the subject, claiming that Toby Turner has raped, 30 people now?
Something of the sort, some unquestionably high number.
So, obviously, I'm not sure that all of those people have been raped by him, but it's entirely possible. I mean, it's all up in the air at this point. There are also accusations that Toby does drugs and cheated, which, again, I can't speak for. However, only speaking from what I know of his online persona, personally, I don't see that he could do this. That I'm not saying that April is lying. I'm just saying that that I personally don't believe...
Don't see it in him to do that. Right. Which is your own personal opinion, and everybody's entitled to that. I agree with Lily, although I don't watch any Tobuscus or any of his channel videos. I don't know much about the case, except all I do know is the increasing amount of rape accusations going on now in recent times, especially over social media in the form of Tumblr, and also the amount of misandry that's occurring as well on different social media sites. And this could, I'm not saying it is possible that this could be just a misandric ruse, I suppose, where they're trying to harm him. I'm not saying that they are.
And it is harmful. Even if they're false, they are harmful to his channel. The amount of negative publicity he's got will never be undone.
Right. Because even if this is true, and eventually he does get out of jail, and, he's a better man, if this had been true, or if this is true.
Or even if it isn't. It's the damage is done.
If this isn't, if it isn't, then there's gonna still be a population of people who believe that he's done this, who will see him as this monster, and he has partially a negative air about his channel now because of the accusations. If it is true that he's raped this girl, then I'd be happy to see him in jail because, the person who raped me never got in jail.
I mean, rape is wrong.
Right. And, I mean,
But
personally, rape has screwed up my whole life. A single offense has basically skewed my whole life, and I'll share my story someday to you people, but someday.
Okay, so another example of this, which I'm not sure of the specifics of, is on Metagon with the YouTuber Lion Maker.
Yes. Lion Maker accusations are mostly about pedophilia, of both genders, boys, girls, generally young people. There's been 18-year-olds that he's preyed on, as well as 13-year-olds, a 15-year-old male. The 15-year-old male, he actually offered $500 for a full frontal nude, and PayPal confirmed that this transaction was made, although the 15-year-old male did not actually send a nude. Although most of the pedophilia has been confirmed, I have even heard that Lion Maker on his channel said that it was true.
Which, good on him for confessing he did wrong.
Right. Most of the accusations made by parents and friends of these people have been confirmed as well, so I don't think that there are any false accusations around him other than that. He's messed up people, you know? I mean...
He's never been convicted, I don't believe, which is...
But he's never been in jail. The Swedish police and the Belgian police have not been able to convict him, which is terrible, because he's even confessed to doing this, although not in court, which, I mean, that means just he's not going to get any jail time for it.
So this is an example of when it is okay to report it on the internet. It's when the law system you've employed has done nothing for you, and you need some kind of publicity to warn people.
Right. But these have all been proved as well. So we can say without a doubt, you know, this is real. And so it's okay for these people to tell everyone else about him. Whereas if we can't all confirm and see it in front of our faces that it's real, then, you know, I mean, we can't say that, oh, we can convict this person. I mean...
We can't say that we can't, either.
Right. And, I mean, you know, there's also, the RuneScape guy, which I'm actually a little bit interested in about how that came about.
So, I'm not sure of the specifics of the original person who was convicted. However, I know he was an older male who I believe was a pedophile who played YouTube. The channel Drama Alert, which is a horrible source of information, by the way, said that this male known as Tony was the convict and was streaming on Twitch, and he wasn't. And he was harassed horrifically because of one simple mistake, which is why things should be thoroughly checked before they end up online, things like this nature. Because...
Right, any misinformation...
This guy's 62, and he lives alone, most likely. I know he's a widower. So, what would that have done to his psyche?
Right.
I mean, imagine
he's probably already in a terrible state because he's lost his wife. On top of that, now he's being accused of things that he may or may not have done.
I mean, since then, Drama Alert have apologized. However, really, they shouldn't have made the mistake in the first place.
Right. If you can't back up your claims with real hardcore evidence, then you shouldn't go around spreading rumors that are untrue, because that can hurt someone negatively. And, like, you know, I mean, somebody who's already vulnerable, if they're especially in that state. There's also the Sam Pepper accusations from 2014. Um, girls claim to be harassed, anal rape. There has been confirmed groping and inappropriate sexual acts towards women. The anal rape accusation was unconfirmed due to lack of evidence because the woman who claimed to have been anally raped waited too long to ever go to the police to get actual evidence formed, and so they couldn't use that in court, even though it sounded like she had a hint of truth to her voice, at least. And although it sounds like, to me personally, it sounds like this could be an actual, rapist. He could be an actual predator. And because of the lack of evidence, unfortunately, we can't actually confirm or deny that he did this. And so it's sort of an up in the air
Of course,
case.
it's not our place to pass judgment on him for this without the evidence.
Right. You definitely have to have that hardcore evidence to be able to say whether or not. Which sometimes it sucks because the girl in the video that I'd watched, she said she didn't go to get that evidence made and a report filed because she was afraid of what people would say about her, how they would treat her, of hurting him and his career, etc., etc.
Which is an entirely different beast.
Right. So there are different angles and perspectives to each of these cases, and the effect that they have on both parties.
I mean, both Toby and April have received huge amounts of negative and positive attention from this scandal that's come up recently, and that's just recently.
Right. It's a lot of drama especially once you expose it to social media, because everybody's looking on there all the time, and everybody has their own opinion on things, and everybody wants to say this, that, or the other.
And every now and then, you'll get someone who comes along, reads a comment, and takes it as gospel truth without taking the time to research anything, which just causes this horrible cycle of crowd mentality. Which is why we say that if you're going to report to the authorities first, and if that doesn't happen, that's when it's maybe, just maybe, appropriate to release on the public. That depends on all kinds of circumstances. The whys the authority couldn't help you. It's just, you don't go straight to Tumblr with it. However, while I was looking at April's Tumblr for research on this, she did imply that maybe she had gone to the authorities. She said it was, you could look at the post for yourself, it's on Tumblr. She said, maybe I have, but it was in sort of a sense that she might not have, but she's just saying she is to avoid some of the heat she's getting. I'm not saying she is or she isn't. She could very well have gone to the police. I don't know.
Right.
It's a tricky one. I've contradicted myself left and right here, but I hope I've somehow got the point across.
Right, yes. I personally have my own views on...
If you'd like to share them, go ahead.
Some of my personal opinions on this, and this is all me. I'm not saying that this is what you should think at all. Recently, due to the feminist movement in particular, false rape accusations have become more and more common, and they can be hurtful and harmful to people. For instance, a man was jailed for a good part of his life. He wasn't let out until his late 60s or later, and this was all because of his false rape accusation from back when he was 20. And he spent most of his life in jail, and that's terrible for something that he didn't do. And anybody who understands what prison is like can say that it is not fun in there. That is not somewhere where you want to spend 40 plus years of your life. I mean, and even in India, it is a huge problem. There are false rape accusations left and right, and the police are overwhelmed by these daily.
Of
And
course, the other thing with mass, sorry for interrupting you, with these mass
it's okay.
false accusations is that they can drown out the true ones
Right, right,
and just make it
right.
harder for the authorities to investigate, leading to a situation similar to this one where people are posting on social media over the police.
Right. Um, in India, the women over there will make these false rape accusations in order to get money out of the men because they need money or whatever for whatever it is that they need it for food, for clothing, for their children, what have you. And it's terrible that it's gotten to that point, but it's also terrible that the system allows them to do that. And you can see how if you don't have hardcore evidence, the system can be taken advantage of. Yes, it would be easier to believe girls the first second that they say I was raped. It'd be easier to say that, but in all reality, you can't do that because you can take advantage of the system. And the first time you don't like somebody, you can just say, "Oh, that man raped me," and get him jailed. And people will want to believe you just because you're a girl or anything like that, you know? And so there are pros and cons to each solution that we impose for this, but
There is no
also
real solution,
yeah, there's
which is
yeah,
which is terrible. There is no absolute definitive solution.
right, right. As somebody who was raped, I can also say that people who use it to get something that they want. Rape is not funny. It's not to be taken lightly. It's not a joke. You can't use it falsely because people like me who have actually gone through that and dealt with problems following it, it can cause mental problems. It is a factor into my depression, all the harassment and the sexual and emotional abuse that I endured. It all caused me mental issues. And so it is not a joke to say, you know, I got raped and to get what you want. It's not funny because people like me who we understand the gravity of it think it shouldn't be taken lightly because it's not to be taken lightly. It's a serious issue.
So, unless you have anything else to say, I think that about wraps it up.
Yes, that should, unless you want to put your opinions in on it about recent events.
I've put out pretty much all my opinions already.
Alrighty, sounds good.
So, with that, YouTube people, I will bid you adieu.